Hello, my name is Michael Chaffee from Earth Dynamics Poolscapes, and I'd like to introduce you to the landscape swimming pool construction process of acquiring construction estimates, or a contracting bid. Setting your standards. Realize that in order to be able to compare, you will need to establish a framework of comparison. The old rule practice of getting 3 bids by 3 contending contractors can allow you to gain a greater appreciation for fair market value, but only if all 3 contenders are bidding the same specification. If one guy is talking about apples and one guy is talking about grapes, well, what benefit can be gained from the responding estimates? Comparing your selected contending contractor's estimate pricing without the benefit of establishing a standard will only result in providing you meaningless and distracting information for making an informed comparative decision. All too often, the distraction of the sales price weighs in disproportionately as a perceived barometer for measuring equal values. Realize that without establishing common standards for your specification, it will be impossible to gain an understanding and insight into your selected contender's true intentions, comparable intentions, the key word being comparable. Ending up with a comparative value will be virtually impossible without developing a common yardstick. Pursuing information without standards will only create an arena in which your unfamiliarity with the requirements will make you unfamiliar with both how to equate the greatest value and how to compare the benefits. When buying a new automobile, you can compare factory options established by the manufacturer and create virtually an apple for apples comparison. When giving up the power of an 8-cylinder for a 6-cylinder, you can understand the trade-off is performance versus economy. However, what is the reasoning behind the selection of a 1-horsepower pump versus a 2-horsepower pump when building a swimming pool? On the other hand, what is the benefit of spray irrigation versus drip irrigation? Understand that when you lead a pool, landscape, or any other salesperson into the price game without the benefits of first establishing a universal standard that applies to all contenders, you are narrowing the avenue of response by them. Essentially, what you are doing is dictating the criteria in which your purchase will take place, which will ultimately be your perceived value at the best price. Unless you are an expert in the long-term operational effects for your choices, realize that the trade-offs can quickly become slanted in favor of the builder's profitability, while the perception, not necessarily the reality, is greater value. You're probably asking the question, how can I keep this from happening? The answer is quite simple. Work with one contender to create your own plan, standard, and specifications, and let the weight of your desired direction standardize the solicited approaches for all the selected builders. It will only be then that you will be able to separate fact from fiction, allowing a true price comparison to evolve. Qualifying the specifier. When measuring the contributions and validity of opinions, it would be wise to narrow the field of view by applying your sensibilities to the considerations for an individual's credentials. As an example, whose opinion would you apply greater value to as the truthful measurement of the overall performance of an automobile, the salesperson or the mechanic? This same logic should apply to the weighted value of an opinion of a swimming pool landscape salesperson versus the actual contractor. The contractor is the licensee. He or she must prove to the California State Licensing Board that they have the experience necessary to build your project. As performing contenders, we of course would all like to secure the agreement to perform your project. We would very much enjoy an opportunity to meet with you and help you qualify and define the many choices that involve your decisions and assist you in arriving at an estimated value. In today's highly competitive economy, it is increasingly important to map out the journey, and by doing so, you can eliminate many of the bumps in the road. Our approach to qualifying our opportunities is to arrange a no-obligation, pre-planned meeting that is where we get together and introduce ourselves to one another and discuss the ideas. If this presentation has gained your interest, allow us to expose you to the possibilities of a trouble-free process. On behalf of the ownership, staff, and crew of Earth Dynamic Poolscapes, we thank you for this opportunity.